Welcome, my friends. Today we are going to be making a Dia de los Muertos inspired calavera or sugar skull. This means we're going to be drawing a skull and decorating it for our decorations. First, we're going to draw our skull. I like to take my pencil and sketch out where I want the circles of my eyes to be, then go back in and draw it a little bit darker. It's okay if it's not a perfect circle or quite in the middle. We're going to go through this and do our steps first, and we'll go back and make it look pretty later. So I have my two circles for eyes. I need to do my nose, so I'm rotating my paper so that it is upside down. I'm going to draw a heart shape for the nose in between the eyes. This means I'm making a bump and coming down to a point, bump straight down to a point. That makes a heart shape in between the eyes for the nose. Then we have to rotate our paper back around so that is right side up. There's our eyes and nose. Then we need to draw some teeth. In order to do that, we're going to draw a cheekbone. It starts beside the eye and curves down and around towards the nose. We have to do that on both sides. Start beside the eye, curve down and around towards the nose to make that shape for the cheekbones. Then make a little curve going towards down the bottom. It's okay if you have little extra lines, we'll erase those later. Now we need to put our jaw below that. So I'm going to start right under that cheekbone, draw a line down towards the middle. Then I'm going to go on the other side and make sure that I'm coming down to the same spot so that it's even on both sides. So there's like a U underneath our skull. Now we have to draw another curve from underneath the jawline to our teeth, because in a skull that part is empty, so we wanted to make a space for that. We have to draw the teeth in between. I'm going to draw a straight line in between so that I can have teeth on the top and bottom. I'm going to draw one longer line and two shorter lines on either side of it, going right through that line we drew in the middle. These are going to be the spaces in between our teeth. In order to make our teeth, we're going to do upside down U's on the top to connect those lines, and U shapes on the bottom to connect those lines, so that we have top teeth and bottom teeth. Now that our teeth are done, we have to do the top of our skull. We're going to start in the middle of our cheekbone, not at that top of the line that we made. We're going to draw a curve up to the top of our paper and do another one on the other side. We want to make sure our skull is as tall as our paper. Once our skull is drawn, then it's time to decorate it. When your skull is drawn, we're adding decorations with our pencils, most of the time for calaveras or sugar skulls. The decorations are centered around the eyes, chin, nose, all of the really recognizable places. So I went around my eyes. I'm making a design on the chin of my skull by making straight lines going out from the chin and doing U shapes in between to make a spider web. Then I decided to do some dots around my nose. Whatever decorations you want to do, this is your sugar skull. Do that to your whole paper. When your whole skull is decorated, then you go in with your Sharpie and trace your lines. This shows people that your lines are very neat and intentional. There's not any kind of sketch or hesitation mark. We want to make it look nice and pretty. When you're done tracing, we need to erase. Sometimes we don't take this step seriously or don't do it at all. But we want to make sure we don't have any more pencil lines left over so that when we go to color it, it looks nice and neat and the colors show up and our mistakes with pencil don't. You may have to rub your paper to get those eraser shavings loosened up so you can shake it over the trash can. We want to make sure all that eraser dust is off of our paper before we add our color. So our finished project, we want to look a little bit like this. We want our colors to show up on top of our construction paper. So we are using a special type of crayon called a construction paper crayon. You can see it on the label there. They are crayons specially made to show up on construction paper so that the colors are nice and bright. You are using these colors to fill in the shapes that you drew for your sugar skull. We are doing our skull on colored paper so that you don't have to color in the background of your skull. But that means you have to color in all of the shapes that you made so that the background of our skull stands out, but also our shapes do as well. I also have white color pencils left over from our feather project if you want to use those as well. If you encounter a crayon that has paper too close to the edge, you can peel it away to make sure that you can use the crayon. Or if you have a crayon where the paper is way too close to the edge and you can't peel it yourself, you can bring it to me and I can make sure that I help peel it for you, because I want you guys to be able to use these beautiful colors. But make sure you throw that paper away when you are done. When your whole skull is colored, then it's time to cut it out. We want to put this onto a black piece of paper so that there's nice contrast between our bright colors and the dark paper, but we have to make sure we're cutting very carefully to make sure we're not cutting off any parts of the skull that we spent so much time decorating. Make sure you're moving your paper around your scissors. Your scissors are always pointing away from you, and you're cutting as close to your black line as you can get. But we have that little space in between our jaw that's supposed to be empty, which can be hard to get to. I'm taking a pencil and poking a small hole very carefully so that I can get my scissors in there and cut out that little piece. This is super tricky. If you can get it, awesome. Do it by yourself, wonderful. If you're having trouble with it, please don't hesitate to bring it to me. I will definitely help you get that cut out so we can make our sugar skull nice and finished for our black paper. When your skull is all cut out, you're going to get a black piece of paper and you are going to use liquid glue to glue it down. You're going to flip your skull over, get your liquid glue, make sure it's open, shake it a little bit, and you're going to put a thin line of glue all around the outside edge of your skull. We might put a little bit of a squiggle in the middle just to make sure that there's glue everywhere, but we do not want a lot. If you put a lot of glue, your paper is going to get wet and flimsy and it's not going to look as pretty. So put as little glue as you can, hold it super duper carefully, set it very neatly onto your black paper and smush it down. You can smush it, swipe it, however you want to get it to stick. If there's glue coming out of the sides, that's okay. I like to just swipe it away with my finger to make sure that there's not just a pool of glue drying right there. And there's one more step. We have to write our name. You're going to get your favorite color of construction paper crayon, write your name at the very bottom of your paper, and you are all finished with your beautiful Dia de los Muertos sugar skull.